Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Stephan Mchunu from Umalusi. At Umalusi, I'm a manager for qualifications. Umalusi is not necessarily a research-based organization, but Umalusi is a research-informed organization. And hence, at Umalusi, we do have a unit or a department that's called SE unit. This department deals with research and some stats just to inform Umalusi's processes. So the framework I was presenting here was on effective questioning. It was based on two concepts, the cognitive demand and the levels of difficulty. So the most important aim for me to present this concept, it was to demystify the misconception that question difficulty or item difficulty depends on cognitive demands. So as assessors and examiners, when setting our question papers or any task for the learners, we do not only end with the cognitive demand as given by Bloom taxonomies and other taxonomies. So we go a step further to look at the levels of difficulty. For example, if someone were to say, this test item is difficult or this test item is easy. So the question is, it is difficult or easy based on which source? So for now, from research, we have 4 sources of difficulty for any test item in any question paper. The first one, a test item can be difficult in terms of content or concept that is there, okay? It can be difficult in terms of the stimulus, okay? It can be difficult in terms of the task. It can be difficult in terms of the expected response, right? So the content difficulty, it depends on the item, okay? If maybe a test item is testing the knowledge learner would have learned in the previous grade, that test item would be easy. But if the test item is related to the core curriculum of that particular grade, that test item can be moderately challenging, okay? But if the test item is set in such a way that it has advanced content, then as an examiner, we are making that test item a bit difficult or very difficult. So if an examiner makes a test item to be difficult or very difficult by intention, if he intends to do so, that is correct, because we don't want to have a question paper where all candidates in one class, they are getting A grade or B grade or 100%, all of them. So a question paper should cater for all abilities in the classroom. A question paper should discriminate between the high achievers and the low achievers. If we want to make the test item difficult in terms of stimulus, stimulus has to do with what? A test item may have one sentence as a question or a paragraph with figures, diagrams, and cartoons. So if an examiner is framing this test item like that, so by intention, so he wants to see if the candidate can interpret the graphs, can interpret cartoons, can interpret or understand the whole paragraph, then that is stimulus difficulty. If that is done by intention, it is correct. But any difficulty in the question paper that is there but not intended by the examiner, that difficulty, we call it invalid difficulty. So in question papers or in any question paper, we don't want to see invalid difficulties. What's the difference between the two? A test item that is difficult validly, it means the examiner intended this difficulty to be there in the question paper, okay, for a particular reason, just to discriminate between the high achievers and the low achievers. But if the test item is there, is difficult but invalidly so, it means it was there not by the intention of the examiner. Therefore, all invalidly difficult test items or questions in a question paper need not to be there. They need to be taken out. Hence, we have moderators. Okay, we have internal moderators to look at the papers That is from the assessment body side. We have external moderators that look at question papers. That is from Umalusi's side. Okay. So with grade 12, we go a step further. For some selected subject, we do what we call the post-exam analysis to further check if there were questions or test items in the question paper that were invalidly difficult for candidates. So we do all of these things to inform Umalusi's assessment standard committee when they do their work during standardization. So they depend on the reports from the internal moderators, external moderators, the post-exam analysis team, so that they can judge the question paper as was fair or difficult, very difficult for the learners. Then they do their work when they adjust marks. So they adjust raw marks by law. So Umalusi has that mandate to do when they do standardization, adjusting raw marks. So in short, this was the presentation. It was based on just two concepts: the cognitive levels and the levels of difficulties. Okay, I've just narrated and given you the sources. There are only 4 sources where difficulty can reside per test item. Then in terms of levels of difficulty, we have 4 levels of difficulty so far. We have the first one, easy as level 1, moderately challenging as level 2, difficult test item as number 3, and very difficult test item. So these are the levels. All these levels needs to be catered in any question paper so that all learners will benefit from the question paper. Therefore, in short, in a question paper, there should be marks allocated to easy questions for candidates to pass. That's number 1. There should be marks allocated to moderately challenging questions for them to pass and get the higher certificates. There should be marks allocated to difficult questions for them to get the bachelor pass and go to universities. There should be marks allocated to very difficult questions just to discriminate the high achievers from low achievers. So a question paper should not only favor one category like low achievers or high achievers. It should cater all of them: low achievers, high achievers, and those in the middle. Then if the question paper is like that, that is a balanced question paper. Thank you.